Good morning, class. Okay, today we're going to be going over 12.8. So go ahead and get out your math book, turn to page 685. Just a reminder, you can pause this video at any time if you feel like I'm going too fast. I probably will just go pretty briefly through it just because I know you can pause it at any time. And I will also give you opportunity to pause it to do a problem. Okay, so we are doing units of measurement, and so today we're going to do units of time. So, as always, we know that, good morning, class. Today we are going to go over 12.8 in our math book. So if you haven't already, go ahead and turn to page 685. As a reminder, you can pause this at any time if you feel like I'm going too fast, as well as you can rewind it if you need me to repeat anything. We have been doing units of measurement, and so today we're going to work on units of time. So it's asking us, the essential question for this lesson is going to be, how can you use models to compare units of time? So I know that we know how to tell time. I know that we can compare time. I know that we can say, oh, there's 60 seconds in 1 minute and there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. And one full turn around a clock is 1 hour of elapsed time, right? We know those things, but one thing that it's important to know is to be able to express all of these things using models. So that's a little bit what this is going to have us do, okay? So as always, our standard that we're learning is 4MD1, no relative sizes of measurement units within one system of units, including kilometers, meters, centimeters, kilograms, grams, pound, ounce, mile, hour, minute, second, within a single system of measurement. Express measurements in a larger unit in terms of a smaller unit. Record measurement equivalents in a 2-column table. So that's the standard that we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so the first question, unlock the problem. The analog clock below has an hour hand, a minute hand, and a second hand to measure time. The time is 4 hours, 30 minutes, 12 seconds. So analog clocks, they always have the three. They have the hour, the minute, and the second. So there are 60 seconds in 1 minute and 60 minutes in an hour. The clock shows how far the hands move each length of time. So these are just showing you. So if the start time, it shows right here on this one. Start time 3 o'clock, 1 second elapses, 1 minute or 60 seconds elapses. The second hand has made a full turn clockwise. So for every minute, the second hand makes a complete turn, okay? 1 hour or 60 minutes elapsed, the minute hand has made a full turn clockwise. So again, for every 60 minutes, the minute hand makes a full turn, right? And then for every 12 hours, the hour hand will make a full turn. So they're all making the same route, but they go at a different time. Okay, so how does the size of an hour compare to the size of a second? Well, there are blank minutes in an hour. Everybody, 60, yes. There are blank seconds in a minute. Everybody, good, 60 seconds. So then if we are trying to figure out how those compare, if we say 60 minutes times however many seconds, then how many seconds is in an hour, right? So 60 minutes and then times 60, that's equal to 3,600 seconds. Then, so that means that there are 3,600 seconds in an hour. So 1 hour is how many seconds? Good. K is how many seconds times as long as 1 second? 3,600. Okay, good. So that was just our little review page. Let's go ahead and move on to page 686. Okay, Larissa spent 2 hours on her science project. Cliff spent 200 minutes on his science project. Who spent more time? Make a table that relates hours and minutes. Okay, so we are going to be relating hours over here and minutes over here. So quickly, let's fill out this chart. We know that in 1 hour, there's 60 minutes. So then in 2 hours, there are, good, 120, right? Then 3 hours, there is 180. Good. So comparing hours to minutes, fill that out. Then compare 2 hours and 200 minutes. So if we have 2 hours right here and we have 200 minutes right here, based on your chart, what's more? Well, we know that right here, so we filled out our chart saying 60, 120, and 180. So we know that 3 hours is 180 minutes. So therefore, 2 hours is definitely less than 200 minutes. So 200 minutes is less than, I'm so sorry, 2 hours is less than 200 minutes. 200 minutes is greater than 2 hours. So who spent more time? Larissa, who spent 2 hours, or Cliff, who spent 200 minutes? Cliff obviously spent more time than Larissa on the science project. Okay, so we've looked at using the clock, we've looked at using a table. Let's look at using a number line. So compare the length of a week to the length of a day. The number line below shows the relationship between days and weeks. So if you look on top, it says use a colored pencil to shade 1 week on the number line. If we were to do that, we would shade in all of this top area, right? Because in 1 week, there's 7 days. So we go 1 day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's 1. Okay, so you'd fill in that as 1 week. Okay, and then on the bottom there's days. So you could think of this as well with if you wanted to do minutes and hours, right? You could have hours on top, and then you could have minutes on the bottom, where say you had 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour, 6 hour, 7 hour. And then down here, it would be 5-minute increments, right? It would go 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Sorry, I wish that I could draw that out. I'm working on trying to figure out how I can do that. So they're just comparing the size of 1 week to the size of 1 day. I want you guys to take a minute. You can pause this video and go ahead and fill out step 3, just comparing weeks to days. Okay, so there are 7 days in 1 week. So 1 week is 7 times as long as 1 day. So it's really important that we can state all of these in a comparison statement. So 1 week is 7 times as long as 1 day. Just like over here, how we said that 1 hour is 3,600 times as long as 1 second. Okay, this will be the last page that we do, and then I'll assign you guys your homework for the day, okay? Okay, so compare the length of a year to the length of a month. Use the model to help. So again, it gives us this unit of time, this little chart that tells us, right, 1 minute, 60 seconds, 1 hour, 60 minutes, etc., etc. So we're going to compare years to months. So how many months are in 1 year? Well, it tells us right here. 0 to 1 year is 0 to 12 months, okay? So then that tells us that what? 1 year is 12 times as long as 1 month. So there's your comparison statement. Okay, so now let's go ahead and complete these. I'm going to give you guys just a couple seconds to complete 2 and 3. You can pause it if you need. So 2 minutes equals 120 seconds, right? Because if we know that 1 minute is 60 seconds, then we can just multiply that. So remember, if we're going from greater to less, so if we're going from minutes to seconds, minutes larger to seconds smaller, you multiply. However, if you're going smaller to larger, you will divide, okay? So if we're going from minutes to seconds, we're going to multiply. If we're going from seconds to minutes, we're going to divide. So in this case, we are going to multiply, okay? So 60, there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So you do 60 times 2 because we're doing 2 minutes. So 2 minutes equals 120 seconds. 4 years and months. So again, I want you to think about that looking at the chart. There's 12 months in 1 year. So can you multiply 12 by something? Good. So 12 times 4, 48. Okay, so now going down here, I want you guys to complete 4, 5, 6, 7. Go ahead and pause this so that you can do those. And when you're done, go ahead and just hit play again. Okay, So 3 minutes equals 180 seconds. So again, we know that by saying how many seconds are in a minute. There's 60 seconds. So you do 60 times 3. So we have the seconds. So we know that there's 60 seconds in 1 minute, but we want to know 3 minutes. So we just want to multiply that by this number that it's asking us. Okay. Okay. So 4 hours equals 240 minutes. 3 years is greater than 35 months. Okay. If we were to look at 35 months and we can say, okay, 35 months, how many years is that? You can count by 12s, right? You can do 12 times 2. You can do 12 times 3. Well, 12 times 3 we know is 36. So that's just barely under 3 years. Okay, it's just 1 month shy of 3 years. So in this case, 3 years is greater. 2 days and 40 hours. Okay, the same concept. 2 days is greater than 40 hours. How many hours are in a day? Well, there's 24 hours in a day. So 24 times 2, which is 2 days, is 48 hours. So this is just shy of 2 days. Okay, the go deeper and the think smarter. Again, I'm going to have you guys pause the video and do those, complete those, and then you can check your answers with me when you push play again, okay? So, Damien has lived in the apartment building for 5 years. Ken has lived there for 250 weeks. Who has lived in the building longer? Explain, make a table to help. So, over here, 1 year to weeks. So he's lived in his apartment building for 5 years. Okay, so 1 through 5. Ken has lived there for 250 weeks. Who has lived in the building longer? Explain and make a table. So to figure this out, we need to figure out how many weeks are in a year. And you can do that by figuring out how many weeks. Well, so up here, it gives it to you. So 1 year is 52 weeks. If you don't have that, then you can still figure out by saying, so you can work backwards, right? We know that a week is 7 days. We can figure out how many weeks are in a month. We can figure out how many months are then in there. And so you can kind of work backwards to figure that out. So 1 year is 52 weeks. So then right here, you're going to put 52. And then you just solve it. You just multiply from there, right? So one year, 52 weeks. 2 years, 104 weeks. 3 years, 156 weeks. 4 years, 208 weeks. 5 years, 260 weeks. So if Ken has lived there for 250 weeks, which 5 years is 260 weeks, then that means that Damien has lived there longer because 5 years is 260 weeks and 260 weeks is greater than 250 weeks. So Damien has lived in the building longer. Okay, so number 9, the think smarter. How many hours are in 1 week? So it's asking how many hours are in 1 week. That answer is 168 hours. And you can know that. One way that you can solve that is that there's 7 days in 1 week. We know that from our chart up here. There's 7 days in 1 week. And then we know that there's also 24 hours in 1 day. So you take the number of days in 1 week, 7, and then you take the number of hours in 1 day, 24, and you multiply those together. So 24 times 7 is 168. Okay, so for your guys' assignment, I want you guys to do on your own page 688, 689, and 690. If you have any questions, let me know. You can ask on the Google Classroom and I will answer you, okay? Bye guys, have a good day.